Good afternoon, Tuesday the 25th of March here, into my 67th year of being born, and still awaiting driving up to Leicester to see my son, Simon, my oldest, and from there we will drive to Stratford-on-Avon to see Hamlet. Been brushing up on my Hamlet for a while now. Looking forward to this, absolutely no end. Little story about Simon. When Simon was last, if you like, officially in the Royal Shakespeare Globe Theatre there, well, he was in utero. We'd been to see his mother, my first wife, and I had been to see Richard III. And there's a huge drumming and fight scene somewhere in it. And to this day, I remember her remarking, just whispering in my ear, that he was kicking at the noise of the drums. Well, he did turn out to be a drummer as well. And I put my hand on there, and sure enough, I could feel him. So I pull his leg down and say, well, that time you didn't have to pay for your ticket, but it's different this time. Looking forward to it, absolutely no end. I haven't received such happy news in such an absolutely long time. Few things I want to cover though, okay? Looking at this now, as I would say, yes, I'd say a humanist Christian, right? Definitely going to use the word humanist. Did, as I said earlier on a post, say I was going to attend the interfaith group in Great Yarmouth this afternoon, but I don't know. I just got in after having dealt with the car, filled it with petrol and whatever for tomorrow, and parked up and thought, oh, I don't know if I want to go out again. So you will miss me, but Great Yarmouth Interfaith, I would still always want to be kept up to date with all the events that you are attending or that you are organising, and also to particularly any humanists there today. I would love to have spoken with you. I'd also love to have listened to the speaker as well. Yep, but I didn't make it today. Now, the central theme that everyone seems to be talking about is Adolescence, the Netflix drama on that what would have been, I believe, Netflix, the Netflix drama on Netflix. Well, I watched all 4 episodes myself, and they were absolutely stunning. It was one of the best dramas I have seen in absolutely ages, and I have to say, from a male point of view, and bearing in mind I'm shortly going to go up to see my oldest son, my youngest Max is still working down there in the City of London. He's involved in major mergers and acquisitions and finances within the City of London. But looking at it from the point of view that I have 2 grown-up sons, and this guy, his son, is charged with, well, he's charged with murdering a young girl because, he was apparently being taunted by her, and he was, according to how the drama develops, very interested in looking at this stuff about the so-called manosphere and incels, involuntary celibates online. I didn't know too much about incels, although I did know what it stood for. But what concerns me even more, having gone through a little bit of research into this, is the idea of the manosphere. This is toxic. As a man, I can definitely say that. I'm 67 years old, right? Bearing in mind, when I was a teenager, computers were big things with valves in them, a bit like the so-called bomb that Turing used to crack the the Enigma codes. Okay, they were huge. Passwords on the whole were only had by secret agents when I was about 11 to, well, this kid is 13, right? So thinking back to when I was 13, stuff like the manosphere wouldn't have existed. Yeah, we grew up, and I guess we kind of modeled ourselves on our fathers. Yep. I certainly did. As you know, my father was a serving military officer who fought in Burma and the Far East in World War II. A very strong, dependable, kind of, if you like, male man. Felt a tremendous bond with him. But I want now to return to this idea of the manosphere, what's going on that is toxic on the internet and things like that. I also note that Lawrence Fox, a great one for the masculine manly bit, yeah, has been charged with possessing images of upskirting photographs that essentially he's taken, or is alleged to have taken, up the skirts of women. The distressing thing, and I think the drama brings it out, is that how this can influence particularly a boy when they are going through puberty, when they are growing up, on their views of women, particularly a young boy. And I was pretty vulnerable when I was 13, and I too was bullied. Yep, got to think back all those years, but at 13 years old, I was bullied. I wanted to do everything that I could to look more manly, to look harder, to have an appearance that I wasn't, and I'm going to use a word, okay, it was used as an insult in those days, that I wasn't a puff. Yeah, I was always looked at and called a puff or a puffter. I used to sit next to a girl in English when we were doing CSE English, and they used to say, "Oh, she's painting her nails. You should, because you're a puff as well." Now, I would have learned later in my life not just to ignore it, but to take the piss out of it. Yeah, you don't learn that until later in life. Yep. But what I want to say is that for those of us with sons, in particular, sons of this age, I'm not saying we have a responsibility to keep an eye on absolutely everything they do on the internet. Of course not. But don't you think as parents we ought to be telling them, showing them more of what it means to be a kind of complete man, a fully rounded man, a man who is perfectly able to and entitled to have feelings, a man who is able to express those feelings, a man who is able even to be okay and to cry when they are upset and things like that, a man who doesn't have to kind of hide their feelings away because that makes them look weak. Yeah? I think that drama, for those of us who are parents, addressed something really, really important. Yeah? Several bits, obviously. I think everyone likes their own particular bits, but obviously when he has his breakdown, his temper tantrums, he has two of them in front of the psychologist, and shortly afterwards, in the last episode, his father too has a temper tantrum when his van is vandalised and the word nonce is sprayed on. It's interesting too that they misspell it. I don't know if that was deliberate, but they end it with SE. So again, what do we think? It's just kids capitalising on a situation, trying to get a laugh. Yep. Two things to look at, I guess. I think the writer of the drama is trying to get us to think about, well, what kind of an image of a man did that boy have when growing up? Interestingly enough, of course, he has a sister as well. Yeah. And again, what was she kind of thinking about what it meant to be a man, what it meant to be male? I think many of us, possibly boomers, maybe also generations after us, struggle with this idea of masculinity. I am really, really, really planning, I hope to, really soon, one Sunday, to go out walking with the men's group that meet up the top of the cliffs on Sundays. I really hope to do that. I've been meaning to do it, especially since I really stopped going to Magway Methodist Church UK. That's another story, but this video is good. It's saying, well, you know, those of you who know me know that I'm happy, I'm okay, I'm directed in my life. Not everything is perfect, but nothing is ever meant to be. The colitis is under a little bit better control now, although obviously it's just an illness I have to live with, and it's never going to go away. Right, well, I will still say God bless you all, because I still do believe in God. Yep, but more, as I say, now concentrating on humanism and that symbol there for the humanists, the Society of Humanists UK and worldwide. Google humanism. I think you might be very interested by what you find. Bye.